And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at an IALO game called Croak. Croak is a game about frogs. I feel like we just did a game about frogs.
Me too.
Ponder, in which we accidentally left in the component drop for Croak. But that's okay, because now we're doing Croak. They're both games about frogs. In Croak, it's kind of like a game of chess, I suppose, where your frogs are trying to land on other people's frogs and kill them. Something that all frogs should do. Kill each other. I don't know. Do we like frogs? I can't tell. The frogs around our neighborhood are gross.
The toads.
Yeah, those are toads. They're big and nasty. Well, anyway, these are cute frogs. Let's look at them. At the beginning of the game, you're going to shuffle tiles and place them out in an 8x8 grid. Each of these tiles has one of three backings on it. There's the shallow end, that's with no fish, and then there's two deep end backs, one that has a fish with reeds and one that has a fish without reeds. That's because the distribution of tiles is different amongst each one, and some dangerous cards are only amongst the deep end, so you can decide what you're doing. Each person has a queen and two minion servant frogs, while you have up to at least 4 more that you could possibly get on the board as the game progresses. Each player also is going to get several discs that will match the male frogs who are madly and deeply in love with your queen. Now on your turn, you simply must move one of your frogs in any adjacent space. An adjacent space, if you were here, would be here, 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 or here. As you go to each space, you'll turn over that and see what happens. Now, reeds is the most common space, and that's basically nothing. That keeps you safe. If you land on a lily pad, you get to go again. So you go here, boing, and bounce to the next space, which happens to be mud. Here, when you land on mud, you turn your frog over. Next turn, that frog just will flip back. He can't move. He just flips back up. Here's a log. A log has room for 2 frogs. See, normally, if I land on an opponent's frog, their frog is dead and removed from the game. If I land on my opponent's queen, I've eliminated that player from the game. But the log, 2 frogs can be in the same space. They're sharing that space together. Here is the most dangerous thing in the game, and that's a pike. You land on a pike and you die. If your queen lands on a pike, well then you've just lost the game. And then here is a mosquito. When you land on this spot, it lets you take a move with one of your other frogs that you might have. So as the game progresses, you're going to find out which tiles are where. There's also many tiles in the game that show the male frogs who are in love with the queens. If your queen lands on one of these frogs, then you will discard the matching tile that you have for that frog. So this one's the green frog. I would discard this one, and then a new frog is born, which next turn must move away from me. And that's it. You're just going to keep moving around back and forth until you capture your opponent's queen with your frogs, and the last queen standing is the winner. You can play a variant in which you can, when you land on a tile, you then turn it back face down, and you simply have to remember where everything is rather than seeing it face up. All right, Melody, what do you think of this Croak game?
Too random. At least the advanced one is too random.
Well, it's all random. You're saying that the advanced one, you can't see what the other side is. You forget what everything is, and you're constantly moving to the wrong spot.
Yeah.
It's so boring, this game, for me. It's so slow. You move a frog, you see what happens. It's not like you can set cool moves up. You might be able to get lucky and move next to a frog and bounce onto them, but the game just really bogs down. I mean, you get a lot of frogs and you're moving them across the board, but it's interesting to see where the pike might be. Like, he grabs your frog and kills it, but it's just, random is the right word. What other thoughts did you have?
I did like the artwork though, because the frogs looked really good. But the gameplay was just boring.
Yeah, I like the little frogs and the whole idea of setting it up and how you know where the deep water is, where the pikes would be. That's an interesting feature to the game, but it just plays so slowly. and you kind of just have to take a chance after a while. I'll move my frog next to yours and hope next turn I can catch him, but you'll probably kill me first, so it's really kind of boring. I'm surprised this game got published. I mean, maybe it got published because of the components, but it's just... Thoughts? Final thoughts?
Not good.
This game will make you croak in pain.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door! Or something like that.